So I know a lot of you probably saw that there was a Nynaeve clip posted today, and we're hoping for another early morning lesbian reaction. Sorry, not gonna happen, because I've already seen it. I've already seen the clip. I woke up today because I had to work. I had to teach some online classes, and couldn't really set up the avatar while I was waiting for my classes to start, and if you think that I had the willpower to wait until after my classes to watch that clip, you do not know me very well. So I've already seen it multiple times. But I will go through it with you now and let you know my thoughts. So let's go.
Let's be nerdy, babe. Let's be nerdy, let's be nerdy. Let's be nerdy, babe. Let's be nerdy, babe. Let's be nerdy, let's be nerdy, babe.
Alright, here it is. Look, there's Nynaeve. Okay, it's Nynaeve. This is the show. This is happening tomorrow. I'm hoping. I still don't know what time the show is starting. I had to admit, I find it really weird that we don't know what time the show is airing. People need to plan their lives. I want to plan. I have to work, obviously, tomorrow. I think if it drops at the time that most people seem to think it is, which is like midnight GMT, it's 9 o'clock in the morning for me. So I might have time to watch one, maybe two, maybe, before I have to go to work. So I don't know, but I don't know. I haven't hit play yet. So it's just the anticipation. Like, I can't believe this. Anyway, this is Nynaeve. Let's go. Let's watch.
They call you a leader in this town, Wisdom, and here you are cleaning. This pool is sacred. It's an honor to clean it. What are you doing here?
Like, Nynaeve is already angry.
In the two rivers. I could ask the same of you. You're not from here, are you? The old Wisdom brought you here when you were a baby.
See, like, her working her jaw there.
A baby whose parents passed. But no one can remember exactly when.
This is a very different backstory.
Towns, no one keeps records of anything. Births, deaths. It doesn't mean we don't remember.
Nynaeve is so pissed. She's so pissed. Look at the girth of that braid. And we'll go back to cleaning.
That old Wisdom. The woman who raised me. When she was only 13, she realized she could listen to the wind. And
this
she
is
went
also
to the White Tower.
a big difference.
She walked.
She knows that listening to the wind gets you to the tower. She knows that listening to the wind is channeling.
Took her months. And when she got there, your sisters took one look at her ragged clothes, her peasant accent, and they turned her away.
So are they saying this is a peasant accent? It's a different world. Like, wow.
She was small and from a little town, but she remembered until the day she died. So do I.
See, people say you're too young to be the Wisdom, and I disagree. I think you're strong. Even if you have only had that braid for, what, a year or two?
That was a bad step. That's it. Like, that's her calling her a child, right? Like,
26.
That doesn't mean I can't do my job. And whatever you may think, that is to protect this town. From you, if I have to.
Look at that. It's like she's angry and like Moraine. Moraine has poked her vulnerable spot there. Okay, so we went through it. I talked over it, but you've seen it, and I will post a link as well. You can watch it if you haven't, but it's IGN Wheel of Time Season 1 exclusive clip IGN. You can see this. I will let you know, like, I love this scene. I think that the changes to the backstory make sense, first of all. They make sense. Book spoilers, by the way, for book 1. If you have read Eye of the World, you're good to go here. They make sense, because Moraine has obviously been asking around for to find out people's ages, and so she's coming here and trying to confirm. I don't know if we're going to see clips of Moraine asking other people around, because I will say, I think people in my Discord were a little bit disappointed with me because they expected me to, like, just gush. And this is the first time that I've seen something where I went, ooh. Not that I didn't like it. That's the wrong word. I got pilot vibes off of this. Like, this is a first episode of a show, which it probably is. It probably is for the first episode, where they are trying to give as much information about all of the characters as possible. So they are having conversations that reveal their backstory, which is not typical. Like, that's not natural. Generally, in my conversations with people, I don't tell them about, like, you know, where I was born and how I came to be places. That just isn't normal. But in the context of the show, it might be. It might be because if we see Moiraine going around asking these questions, then it might work. And it actually would make good pilot fodder because you need that. You need to know people's backstories in a show, and you have to get that out of the way as quickly as possible, which is why a lot of pilots often feel a bit, at least to me, maybe I'm alone in this, but a lot of pilots of shows feel a bit awkward to me because there's just so much, hi, I'm so-and-so, and this is my parents, and they work here, and my father works here, and these are my life goals and my dreams, but I can't do them because of this. This is there's a lot of that happens in pilots. Anyway, that's kind of what I got off of this, is just, it's a pilot. And that isn't a bad thing. You have to do that. Like, a pilot has to do that. It has to give you all that information. Otherwise, you don't have enough to understand things moving forward. So I don't write for I don't write for anyone really, but I don't write for television for sure. So I don't know how this works. Like, this is special alchemy you have to do to make this kind of thing work. And this could feel much more natural in the show than it does as an isolated clip, because Moiraine coming in and just telling her backstory feels a bit odd. It does feel a bit odd, because Moiraine is telling Nynaeve something about herself that she knows, which is strange. But in the context of the show, it might not be. And, okay, we know the backstory is changed. First of all, I think in the books, Nynaeve's parents, and we might not even get this in the books, maybe it's from the companion, but Nynaeve's parents died when she was 14, and maybe, I think it was just her father, and maybe her mother died much younger than that. And this is a significant change from that. But it works. It works, and I think it actually, given that Nynaeve's backstory, I think, doesn't even come up in the books, it's not a change that I think matters all that much. The bigger change to me is that Nynaeve knows that listening to the wind is something that would get you to the tower, which means that listening to the wind is channeling, and she knows that. That is a big change. That is a big change even from one of my favorite scenes in Wheel of Time. But I'm okay with it, because it does give more of a foundation to Nynaeve's animosity towards the Aes Sedai, and not just Nor. I just tried to mix up the names Nynaeve and Moiraine and came up with Nynaeve. That was wild. Anyway, not just Moiraine. Nynaeve has a problem with Aes Sedai, and this gives that more foundation. I have like my own personal headcanon explanation for Nynaeve's issues. I have a video on Nynaeve very, very early on. Watching my early videos is hard. It's really hard for me. I've gotten a little bit better at what I do. But anyway, I have an early on video which goes into that a bit. But this gives it a bit more of a firm foundation that I think is more logical and could adjust that. Like, a lot of people have problems with Nynaeve because they find her resentment towards the Aes Sedai unreasonable. And this gives that much more of a reason. Makes it less unreasonable, because there's a reason. Sorry. Even though this is an early morning reaction, I am a bit tired. This has been a bit of a whirlwind week here. So, I like that change. I do like that we get to see the moment where Moiraine, I almost did it again. Why am I saying Nynaeve? Like, this has never happened to me in my life. I am mixing up their names. Maybe it's because I'm seeing them on screen together. It's so exciting! But, we see the moment where Moiraine calls her a child. Like, she doesn't say child, but she, like, you know, you've had that braid for what, like a year? Basically, you're like 20? 21? Like, how long have you had this braid? And that is that. And like, it totally gets her back up. It's the thing she's sensitive about.
No, that's the thing I'm sensitive about!
Like, that's it, you know? She thought that she was going to be, someone in my Discord, Bree, mentioned this, like, Moiraine says this as if it's a compliment. Like, people say you're too young, but, like, I think you're strong. You've had that braid for, like, a year? she thought that was a compliment. Nynaeve, we know if you've read the books, is a little bit further on, but Nynaeve hates the fact that she looks young because it hampers her job. And so, it's good. I do love this scene. I do love it. I'm gonna be critical about things that I'm critical about, and I'm gonna be honest about things that I feel. And one of the, that's what I thought watching this is, pilot. Okay, we're getting slightly, not fully, but slightly unnatural conversations in order to get backstory out, which is not, that's a hallmark of a pilot to me. So, yeah, we'll see though, because this is an isolated clip. This is very, very isolated. There could be more, and if we see more, in the show, it might not have that feeling. You never know. Seeing things out of context, and anything out of context, it's going to be like that. So, yeah. Anyway, those are my thoughts and reactions. I do love it. Again, I think people were disappointed that I wasn't just entirely gushy. I do have that criticism. I'm going to say what I think. Sorry. But I loved this clip, and Zoe Robbins is killing it. She was working her jaw in anger, and I do like that. That's. I'm so happy. Sorry. I'm so happy. This is happening. Tomorrow, by this time, I will have seen an episode, at least one, of The Wheel of Time. Wow.